The arch-Brexiteer said Brussels is scared of a competitive, independent Britain and is railroading the Prime Minister into agreeing to its terms in a bid to stop the UK from signing global free trade deals. He urged Mrs May to accept the EU's offer of a Canada-style free trade deal, adding the government should have agreed to it from day one, and he said despite a sustained campaign by the establishment to water down or stop Brexit, he felt there has been a shift in the past 24 hours. The intervention of the former UKIP leader comes as UK and EU frantically try to agree terms to avoid a hard border in Ireland as the stalled exit talks enter their crucial final stages. Speaking ahead of a Leave Means Leave rally in Bournemouth today, Mr Farage said, "The truth of the Northern Ireland border, the real truth is, it is being used very cleverly by Monsieur Barnier to trap Theresa May in a position. You see, the one thing Europe don't want is us to leave the single market rules and become competitive. The truth of the Northern Ireland border, it is being used to trap Theresa May in a position." Nigel Farage, Mrs May today told MPs that a Brexit deal is still achievable despite deadlock and talks just days ahead of a crunch European Council summit. The Irish border issue is the last major hurdle left to overcome before a divorce deal can be agreed. Both the UK and EU have agreed on the need for a backstop safety net which would kick to prevent customs checks along the politically sensitive border between Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic if a future trade deal does not provide an alternative solution. After the EU refused to budge on its demands for the backstop, which would see Northern Ireland remain in the EU's customs union, Mrs May proposed a compromise. Her plan would keep the entire UK in a temporary customs union with the bloc while a broader trade deal removing the need for border checks is agreed. But the EU's chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier has insisted a carve-out keeping just Northern Ireland and the EU's customs area should remain available in case the UK-wide arrangement lapses before the trade deal is finalised. Brexit news. Nigel Farage said the EU is trying to trap Theresa May with its Irish border demands. Image, PA, Getty Images. The former UKIP leader was speaking ahead of a Leave Means Leave rally in Bournemouth. Image, PA. Mr Farage said Michel Barnier is very cleverly attempting to trap the UK in a customs union. Image, Getty Images. Nigel Farage dismissed this demand as a Brussels ploy to keep Britain shackled to the bloc. Said, every leading exponent on both Remain side and Leave side say, if you vote to leave, you are leaving the union, you are leaving the customs union, you are leaving the single market. It could not be clearer, and what we have had is an over 2-year attempt by the establishment to water it down, delay it, in some cases even to stop it, but I do begin to think in the last 24 hours maybe the establishment have hit the wall. I want Brexit. If you think there should be a border, a hard border, in Ireland, let's work it out, shall we? There's a different currency between the North and the South, different income tax rates, different excise rates, different corporation tax rates. If you need to have a hard border because of differences, there should be one there today. If we have a simple free trade deal with the European Union, that would be a non-issue because there would be no excise duties to collect. On the argument of different specifications of products, hey, at the moment we have exactly the same specs as Northern Ireland. You could say in 5 or 10 years' time, there might be 1 or 2 industries where we have some differences, but if you buy a washing machine now you can track on your mobile phone exactly where it is. Leave Means Leave is campaigning for a clean break from Brussels. Image, Getty Images. Some EU leaders have warned a hard Brexit, in which Britain leaves the EU without a divorce deal and falls back onto World Trade Organization (WTO) terms, could result in planes departing from the UK not being allowed to fly to European airports. But Mr Farage dismissed these claims and insisted the UK has nothing to fear from exiting the bloc without a deal. Asked if he was concerned about the legal and administrative consequences of a hard Brexit, Mr Farage said, "How does any of the world exist outside of the European Union? It's a miracle to me, really. There are of course neighbourly issues that have to be sorted out. Of course that is right. In terms of a deal, it's quite simple actually. The European Union has been saying to me for 20 years, if you want a free trade arrangement, what we now call a Canada-style deal, it's there, it's an offer on the table, it's what the British government should have gone for from day one. Failing that, if they really want, and goodness me, how many German motorcars have I seen on the roads this morning? And no doubt French wine sold in bars down this street. Failing that, we will leave and have a WTO deal as most of the world does, and there is nothing to fear from that, either. Leading Brexiteers including Mr Farage, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Boris Johnson all called on the Prime Minister to accept the EU's Canada-style trade deal earlier this month. In a tweet shortly after European Council President Donald Tusk reiterated that Canada deal was still on the table, Mr Farage said, "Please Mrs May bite his hand off.